This audiobook has been created to help you unlock the version of yourself that you know deep down is possible. It is not about wishful thinking or empty motivation. It is about breaking free from the habits, doubts, fears, and limitations that keep you stuck, and stepping into a future where your dreams are no longer just ideas, but realities you can see, feel, and live. Inside, you'll find practical advice, step-by-step strategies, and real-life principles that you can apply immediately, no matter who you are, where you come from, or what your current situation looks like. Whether your goal is to overcome self-doubt, build unstoppable confidence, create powerful daily habits, stay focused, recover from setbacks, or simply become a stronger, clearer, and more disciplined version of yourself, this audiobook is designed to guide you every step of the way. You will learn how small, consistent actions can lead to massive changes over time, how to manage your energy instead of just your time, how to bounce back from failure, and how to build a mindset that supports your success rather than sabotages it. This journey is not just about setting goals and making plans. It is about transforming the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you show up every day. It's about replacing excuses with action, fear with courage, and confusion with clarity. There is no fluff here, only tools, insights, and methods you can use in your real life. This audiobook is for anyone who is ready to stop living on autopilot and start living intentionally. For anyone who is tired of feeling stuck and finally wants to take control of their future. If you stay with this process, apply what you hear, and refuse to give up on yourself, you may be surprised by how much you are truly capable of. Your potential is already within you. This is your invitation to unlock it.
Most people go through life without ever discovering what they are truly capable of. They fall into routines, repeat the same thoughts, stay in familiar environments, and rarely pause to ask, is this really the best I can do? Is this really the life I want? The word potential is often misunderstood. Many imagine it as some special talent that only a lucky few are born with. In reality, potential is not a gift reserved for the chosen. It is simply your capacity to grow, to learn, to adapt, and to stretch beyond your current limits. Everyone has potential, but not everyone decides to unlock it. The starting point is your current reality, how you live, what you believe about yourself, the choices you make, and the habits you repeat every day. Many people feel stuck or unfulfilled, but instead of questioning their situation, they quietly accept it as permanent. They tell themselves, this is just how life is for me. Yet, the truth is, your present circumstances do not have to be your future. You have the power to change, improve, and rise above anything you currently believe is holding you back. Growth is not automatic. It is a choice. No one is born knowing exactly who they will become or what they will achieve. Skills are learned. Confidence is built. Strength is developed. The people you admire, the ones who seem successful, confident, or extraordinary, are not fundamentally different from you. The difference is that at some point they made a decision. They chose to pursue their potential instead of settling for comfort. They chose to confront their doubts, work through their weaknesses, and deliberately develop their strengths. One of the biggest barriers between you and your potential is self-doubt. It doesn't always shout, it often whispers. It questions you silently. Are you really good enough? Who do you think you are? What if you fail? What will people say? It compares you to others and convinces you that they are more talented, more experienced, or more deserving than you. But self-doubt is not a fact, it is a mental habit. It is a story you've told yourself so many times that it feels true. The only way to break this habit is through action. You don't overcome self-doubt by sitting still and overthinking. You overcome it by proving to yourself, step by step, that you can do more than you thought.
Belief in yourself is not a switch that suddenly turns on. It grows gradually each time you step outside your comfort zone, each time you try something new, each time you persist when it would be easier to quit. Many people make the mistake of waiting until they feel ready before they take action. They wait for the perfect timing, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. That perfect moment never comes. Readiness is not something you wait for. It is something you create by moving forward despite uncertainty. You will almost never feel 100% prepared, and that is okay. What matters most is taking the first step and then the next.
Your potential is deeply connected to your mindset, the way you think about yourself, your abilities, and your future. Some people live with a fixed mindset. They believe their intelligence, skills, and talents are set in stone. When they fail, they see it as proof that they are not good enough, so they avoid challenges to protect their ego. Others develop a growth mindset. They understand that abilities can be developed through effort, practice, and persistence. They see failure not as a final judgment on their worth, but as valuable feedback. For them, every mistake holds a lesson, and every obstacle is a chance to grow stronger. If you want to unlock your true potential, you must adopt the belief that you can always grow, always learn, and always improve. It is easy to underestimate yourself, especially if you've been living a certain way for a long time. Maybe you've told yourself, "This is just how I am," or "People like me don't achieve big things." But change begins with awareness. Think about the moments in your life when you felt genuinely proud of yourself. It might have been a challenge you overcame, a goal you reached, or a time you did something that scared you. Those moments are not accidents, they are evidence. They prove that you can grow, that you have courage, that you are capable of more than your fears suggest. Fear is another powerful force that keeps people from reaching their potential. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. Fear makes the comfort zone feel safe, but it also makes it a cage. The more you avoid what scares you, the more power that fear gains over your life. The way to weaken fear is not to run from it, but to walk toward it. Each time you take action despite being afraid, you build courage. You begin to realize that failure is not something to fear, but something to use. Every setback, mistake, and rejection is a piece of information, a lesson about what doesn't work yet and what you can do differently next time. The most successful people you know or admire have failed more times than most people have even tried. The difference is that they did not let failure stop them. They used it to adjust, to refine their approach, and to grow. One of the most practical ways to start unlocking your potential is to set clear, meaningful goals. Without direction, it's easy to drift through life, reacting instead of creating. Goals give you focus. They give you a reason to push yourself, to wake up with purpose, and to say no to distractions. But vague goals like, "I want to be successful," or "I want to be happier," are not enough. They are wishes, not plans. You need to define what success means to you. Is it financial freedom, better health, stronger relationships, more creativity? Instead of just saying, "I want to be happier," ask, "What specifically makes me feel alive, fulfilled, and joyful, and how can I bring more of that into my daily life?"
Unlocking your potential is never just about talent. It is about discipline and consistency. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline remains. Many people wait to feel motivated before they act, but motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll feel inspired, other days you won't. Discipline is the decision to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It is the quiet power that keeps you moving forward on the slow, boring, or difficult days. The more disciplined you become, the less you are controlled by moods, excuses, or distractions. Over time, discipline turns effort into results and potential into reality. The people you surround yourself with also shape your potential. If you spend most of your time with negative, unmotivated, or fearful people, their mindset will rub off on you. You will start thinking smaller, doubting more, and expecting less of yourself. But if you surround yourself with people who challenge you, encourage you, and believe in growth, you will naturally raise your standards. Seek mentors, friends, and role models who embody the qualities you want. Learn from them. Notice their habits, their attitude toward failure, the way they use their time. At the same time, protect your mental environment. What you read, watch, and listen to constantly influences how you think and feel. If your mind is filled with negativity, drama, and fear, it becomes very hard to maintain a strong, focused, and determined mindset. Be intentional about your inputs. Choose books, podcasts, videos, and conversations that uplift, educate, and motivate you. Most importantly, discovering your potential is not a thinking exercise. It is an action journey. You can plan, dream, and analyze forever, but nothing changes until you move. Start small, today, not someday. Take one step that brings you closer to the person you want to become. Learn a new skill. Start a simple habit. Speak up. Apply for something. Or challenge yourself in a way you've been avoiding. Progress is made one step at a time. Each step, no matter how small, is proof that you are not stuck, that you are moving, growing, evolving. Your potential is not somewhere outside of you, waiting to be found. It is already inside you, waiting to be activated. You do not need anyone's permission. You do not need the perfect moment. The only thing standing between you and the life you are capable of living is the decision to begin and the commitment to keep going. The choice is, and always has been, yours.
Self-doubt is a quiet enemy that lives in the mind. It doesn't always appear as loud panic or obvious fear. Often, it shows up as a soft, familiar voice saying, "You're not ready yet. You're not good enough. Others are better than you. Why even try?" This voice can appear when you're about to start a new job, launch a project, speak up, learn a new skill, or take even a small step toward your dreams. And because everyone experiences self-doubt at some point, it can feel normal to obey it. The real problem is not that self-doubt exists. The problem is how much power you give it. The people who move forward in life are not the ones who never doubt themselves. They're the ones who refuse to let doubt make their decisions for them. The first step in breaking free from self-doubt is understanding that it is a natural part of being human. You are not broken or weak because you feel uncertain. The brain is designed to protect you from danger, and anything new or unfamiliar can be interpreted as a threat. That's why when you try to grow, improve, or take a risk, doubt and fear show up. Instead of seeing this as a sign that you should stop, start seeing it as a sign that you're entering new territory, stretching beyond your comfort zone. Self-doubt simply means you are at the edge of growth. The goal is not to eliminate it completely. That's impossible. The goal is to stop letting it control your life. At the root of most self-doubt lies fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of being exposed as not enough. The mind imagines worst-case scenarios, replaying them over and over. What if I fail and people laugh? What if I try and it doesn't work? What if they see I'm not as good as they think? But ask yourself honestly, how many of your worst fears have actually happened in reality? Most of the time, our worries are exaggerated stories, not facts. To weaken self-doubt, you must challenge it. When doubt speaks, don't accept it as truth. Ask, is there real evidence for this, or is this just a habit of thinking? Then look at your life. Have you ever learned something new before? Have you ever overcome a challenge, adapted, or surprised yourself? Those experiences are proof that you can grow, even when you start from uncertainty. You don't need to feel confident to take action. In fact, action is how confidence is created.
Self-doubt loses its power every time you act in spite of it. The more you step forward while feeling afraid, the more you teach your brain, I can handle this. I don't need to be perfect to begin.
Another powerful way to break free from self-doubt is to change the way you see failure. Most people treat failure as a final verdict, a label that says, "You're not good enough, stop trying." That belief creates paralyzing pressure. If failing means you are a failure, no wonder you're scared to move. But what if failure was not a judgment, only information? What if every failed attempt was simply a test result that helps you adjust your approach? Every successful person has failed again and again. They did not succeed because they were lucky enough to avoid failure. They succeeded because they refused to stop after failing. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" start asking, "What will I learn if I fail? And how will that help me next time?" This single shift can transform how you feel about taking risks. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of success. When you understand that, self-doubt loses one of its strongest weapons. You no longer see mistakes as proof that you aren't capable, but as stepping stones that shape you into someone more skilled, resilient, and wise. With this mindset, you become far more willing to try, experiment, and grow, because you no longer tie your worth to the outcome. Self-doubt also thrives when you constantly compare yourself to others. In a world full of social media and constant exposure to other people's achievements, it's easy to forget that what you are seeing is their highlight reel, not their full story. You don't see their private fears, their failures, their doubts, or the years of effort behind every success. When you compare your behind-the-scenes reality to someone else's polished surface, you will always feel like you are losing. To break this cycle, shift your focus from comparison to self-awareness. Instead of asking, "Am I as good as them?" ask, "Am I better than I was yesterday? Am I moving forward, even a little?" Remember that no one else has your unique combination of life experiences, strengths, and perspectives. You bring something to the world that no one else can. When self-doubt rises, take a moment to recall your past wins, big or small. Times you solved a problem, learned something new, helped someone, completed a task you once found difficult. These are not random moments, they are evidence of your capability. Write them down if you need to. Build a personal memory bank of proof that you can figure things out. Whenever doubt tries to convince you that you're not enough, return to that evidence. You have already succeeded in many ways. There is no logical reason you can't succeed again. Action is one of the fastest antidotes to self-doubt. Overthinking feeds doubt. Action starves it. When you sit and think about your fears, they grow. When you move, they shrink. You don't need to take huge steps. You only need to take consistent ones. Break your goals into small, clear actions. Send the email, read the first chapter, sign up for the class, practice for 10 minutes, apply for the position, speak to one person. Each small action proves to your mind, I can do this. Over time, those small actions add up to big results, and your identity begins to shift. You no longer see yourself as the person who is always afraid, always stuck. You start to see yourself as someone who takes action regardless of how they feel. That identity is powerful. Another key to overcoming self-doubt is surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, especially on the days you struggle to believe in yourself. When you are already doubting your worth, the last thing you need is to be around people who criticize, discourage, or constantly highlight your weaknesses. Seek out those who support your growth, who see your potential, who speak honestly but with encouragement. Share your goals with them. Let them remind you of your strengths when you temporarily forget them. Sometimes a single sentence from the right person, "You can do this. I've seen what you're capable of," is enough to help you push through a moment of doubt and take the next step.
To truly break free from self-doubt, create a positive feedback loop in your life. Each time you complete even a small action, acknowledge it, celebrate it mentally or even physically. Say to yourself, I did that. I showed up. I moved forward. Many people only notice their failures and ignore their progress. This keeps them trapped in a negative story about themselves. You must do the opposite. Notice your wins, however small they seem. When you consistently recognize progress, your brain starts to build a new identity. I am someone who takes action. I am someone who learns. I am someone who can improve. From that identity, doubt has much less room to grow. You can also reduce self-doubt by setting goals that are challenging but realistic, and by breaking larger dreams into smaller, achievable steps. If your only focus is on a massive end goal, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and unqualified. But when you divide that big goal into daily or weekly tasks, each one feels doable. Each task completed is another piece of proof that you are capable. Over time, these steps compound into real change. Remember, self-doubt is a feeling, not a fact. It may visit you, but it doesn't have to live with you. You break free from it not in a single dramatic moment, but through a series of steady, honest choices, challenging negative thoughts, taking action despite fear, surrounding yourself with support, and giving yourself credit for every bit of progress. You will still feel doubt at times. That's okay. What matters is that you keep going anyway. Your potential is not limited by your doubts. It is limited only by your decision to stop. Keep moving. You are far more capable than you think.
You've probably heard the advice, set goals more times than you can count. But simply listing what you want is not enough. Real change comes from creating goals that are clear, specific, meaningful, and connected to daily action. Without well-defined goals, life can feel like driving without a destination. You might keep moving, but you'll drift, get lost, or go in circles. Many people say things like, I want to be successful, I want to be happier, or I want to get in shape. These are good desires, but they are not real goals because they lack clarity. You can't measure successful if you haven't defined it. You can't act on happier if you don't know what that looks like. Imagine planning a trip and saying, I want to go somewhere nice. That's not enough to buy a ticket, pack a bag, or start the journey. In the same way, when your goals are vague, your actions will be vague. You end up busy but not productive, always trying but rarely progressing. The power of a real goal begins with specificity. Instead of, I want to be healthy, a clear goal is, I will exercise for 30 minutes, 5 days a week for the next 3 months. Instead of, I want more money, a clear goal could be, I will save $200 each month for the next year. Specific goals tell you exactly what to do and give you something concrete to track. Once you know what you want in detail, the next step is to break it down. Big goals can feel intimidating. Write a book, start a business, run a marathon. These can easily trigger procrastination because they seem too far away or too large to handle. The mind doesn't know where to start, so it avoids starting at all. This is where breaking your goal into smaller, actionable steps becomes crucial. For example, if your dream is to write a book, your breakdown might look like this. Choose a topic, outline the chapters, write 500 words a day, revise each chapter, and then edit. Now, instead of waking up thinking, I have to write a whole book, you only have to focus on today's 500 words. If you want to run a marathon, you don't start with 42 kilometers. You might begin with running 3 times a week for 20 minutes, then slowly increasing your time and distance. By chunking your goal into manageable tasks, you transform something overwhelming into something doable. Every small step completed gives you a sense of progress and builds momentum, which is far more powerful than waiting for motivation to magically appear. For your goals to truly work, they must be aligned with your values. Many people chase goals that don't actually belong to them.
They pursue careers, lifestyles, or achievements because family, culture, or society told them they should. But when your goals are not connected to what genuinely matters to you, it becomes difficult to stay committed, especially when things get hard. Ask yourself, why do I want this? What does this goal give me that I truly care about? Perhaps you want to get fit not just to look better, but because you value health, energy, and the ability to live actively. Maybe you want financial freedom because you value security, independence, and the ability to support others. When your goals are rooted in your values, discipline no longer feels like punishment. It feels like alignment with who you really are. This deeper connection gives your goals emotional power. On difficult days, when you don't feel like taking action, your why will be the reason you keep going. Without that connection, even well-designed goals can feel empty and unmotivating. Deadlines are another essential part of setting goals that actually work. A goal without a time frame is easy to postpone forever. Someday I'll start my business. Someday I'll learn that skill. Someday I'll get in shape. Someday is not a date. When you attach a clear timeline to your goal, you create urgency and structure. For example, by the end of this month, I will have completed my course outline. In the next 90 days, I will lose 5 kilograms through consistent exercise and healthy eating. Timelines help you plan your weeks and days. They turn your goal from a distant desire into a real project. At the same time, it's important to stay flexible. Life happens. You may face unexpected obstacles, delays, or responsibilities. Flexibility doesn't mean lowering your standards or giving up. It means adjusting your route while keeping your destination. If you miss a deadline or fall behind, don't use it as an excuse to quit. Instead, review what happened, learn from it, revise your plan, and set a new, realistic timeline. The goal remains, only the path and pace might change. Accountability is a powerful amplifier for your goals. When your goals live only in your head, they're easy to ignore. When you speak them out loud, write them down, and share them with someone you trust, they become more real. Tell a friend, mentor, coach, or family member what you're working toward and ask them to check in with you regularly. You might agree to send them a weekly update or have a short call to report your progress. Just knowing that someone else is aware of your goals can dramatically increase your follow-through. You can also create accountability systems for yourself, tracking your daily actions on a calendar, using a habit or goal app, or keeping a written progress log. Each check mark, each completed task is a small promise kept to yourself. On the inside, this builds self-trust. The more you do what you said you would do, the more your identity shifts to, I'm someone who follows through. From that identity, achieving your goals becomes far more natural. Visualization is another underrated tool in goal setting. Taking a few minutes each day to vividly imagine yourself achieving your goal can strengthen your belief that it is possible and prime your mind to look for ways to make it real. Close your eyes and picture what success looks like. What are you doing? How do you feel? Who is with you? What has changed in your life? The point is not to escape into fantasy, but to create a mental image that motivates you to act. Your brain responds to imagined experiences in ways that are similar to real ones. When you repeatedly visualize success, you become more comfortable with the idea of achieving it. This reduces unconscious resistance and fear. However, visualization must be paired with action. Dreaming without doing leads to frustration. Use your mental images as fuel to drive consistent effort, not as a substitute for it.
Fear and perfectionism are two major obstacles that can sabotage even the best goals. You might hesitate to set a big goal because you're scared of failing, or you might delay starting because you don't feel ready or good enough yet.
Perfectionism whispers, if you can't do it perfectly, don't do it at all. But real progress is always imperfect. You learn as you move. You adjust as you go. If you wait for the perfect plan, the perfect timing, or the perfect version of yourself, you will wait forever. Instead, adopt the mindset of experimentation. See your goals as experiments where you test, learn, and refine. Ask yourself, what is the smallest step I can take today? Then take it, even if it feels messy or incomplete. Imperfect action is infinitely more powerful than perfect intentions. Over time, those imperfect actions will create real, visible change, while waiting for perfection creates nothing but regret. Finally, remember that effective goal setting is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing process. As you grow, your priorities will evolve. Goals that once excited you may no longer fit the person you are becoming. That's okay. Regularly revisit your goals and ask, do these still matter to me? Do they still reflect my values and vision for my life? If not, give yourself permission to adjust them. Letting go of a goal that no longer serves you is not failure, it's wisdom. At the same time, be patient with the goals that still matter. Big change takes time. You may not see dramatic results in a week or even a month, but if you're consistently taking steps aligned with a clear, meaningful goal, progress is guaranteed. Celebrate small milestones along the way. The first chapter written, the first week of consistent workouts, the first amount saved, the first client, the first skill learned. These are all victories. Setting clear goals that actually work is about combining clarity, structure, meaning, and action. When you know exactly what you want, why you want it, how you'll move toward it, and when you'll do it, and when you commit to follow through even on the hard days, your goals stop being wishes. They become your new reality in progress.
Having a dream is powerful. It gives you a sense of possibility, a vision of a life that feels more meaningful, exciting, and aligned with who you truly are. But dreams by themselves do not change your life. Many people spend years thinking, imagining, and wishing, yet nothing around them actually improves. The hard truth is this: without action, even the most beautiful dream remains just a thought in your mind. To turn your dream into reality, you must move from someday to starting now. That shift begins by breaking your dream down into small, specific steps. Big dreams can feel overwhelming. You might look at where you are now and where you want to be and think, how could I ever get from here to there? That gap can create anxiety, self-doubt, and paralysis. But no dream is too big when you divide it into manageable pieces. Ask yourself, if this dream were a project, what would the first 3 steps be? Maybe your dream is to start a business. Step 1, research your industry. Step 2, talk to 3 people already doing something similar. Step 3, outline a simple, testable version of your idea. Suddenly, the dream is no longer a mysterious fantasy. It is a series of steps you can begin today. Action shrinks the distance between where you are and where you want to be. One of the most effective ways to turn dreams into action is to set clear deadlines for your steps. Without a time frame, it's easy to keep postponing. I'll start when I have more time. I'll do it when things calm down. I'll begin next month. But there is always another distraction, another excuse, another reason to wait. Deadlines transform intentions into commitments. When you say, by the end of this week, I will complete the first step toward my dream, you create urgency. Your brain starts to prioritize and plan around that commitment. Deadlines are not meant to suffocate you with pressure, but to support you with structure. They help you measure progress. You can look back and see what you've accomplished instead of feeling stuck in endless planning. To make deadlines work, break your dream into milestones, monthly, weekly, even daily targets. For example, if your dream is to launch a YouTube channel, your deadlines might be choose a niche by Friday, script first video by next Tuesday, record by Thursday,
and publish by the end of the week. Each deadline becomes a small promise you keep to yourself, and with every promise fulfilled, your dream moves from imagination into existence. Starting is often the hardest part. Many people believe they need to feel fully confident, fully ready, or perfectly prepared before they begin, but that moment rarely arrives. In reality, clarity comes from doing, not from overthinking. The first version of anything you create, your first video, first product, first speech, first design, first attempt, will likely be imperfect. That's not a problem. That's the process. You learn by trying, not by waiting. Action reveals what works and what doesn't. It shows you where you need to improve, what to change, and how to grow. The fear of failure is one of the biggest reasons people don't act on their dreams. They imagine everything that could go wrong and decide it's safer not to try. But what they often overlook is the cost of inaction. If you don't move toward your dream, what does your life look like in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? Which is more painful, trying and possibly failing, or never trying and always wondering, what if? Failure is not the enemy. Avoidance is. When you act, you give yourself a chance to win, or at least to learn. When you avoid action, you guarantee that nothing changes. Begin to see failure as a necessary ingredient for success, not a sign that you should quit. Each time something doesn't work out, you gain information. You discover what your audience responds to, what the market needs, what skills you must sharpen, what strategies need adjusting. This feedback is priceless. The most successful people are not those who never failed. They're those who kept taking action, kept learning, and kept adjusting long after others had given up. Staying focused is crucial once you begin turning your dreams into action. In a world full of distractions and new opportunities, it's easy to start many things and finish none. You might get excited about a new idea, work on it for a short time, then jump to another idea when the first one feels difficult. This constant switching destroys momentum. To make real progress, you must commit. That means choosing one main dream or project to focus on for a period of time and directing your energy there consistently. It doesn't mean you can never change direction, but it does mean you give your current path a fair chance before abandoning it. Focus also means protecting your time. Set aside dedicated blocks for working on your dream. Even if they're small, 30 minutes a day is better than nothing. During that time, treat your dream like a real obligation, not an optional hobby. Turn off notifications, avoid multitasking, and give your full attention to the task in front of you. Consistent, focused effort, even in short bursts, adds up far faster than occasional bursts of intense effort followed by long periods of doing nothing. Habits and routines are the bridge between dreams and results. Motivation can inspire you to start, but habits keep you going when motivation fades. Ask yourself, what daily or weekly routines would support this dream? If you want to become a writer, a routine might be writing 500 words every morning before checking your phone. If you want to get fit, your routine might be exercising at the same time each day. If you want to build an online business, your routine might include 1 hour each evening for content, product development, or marketing. When you repeat an action consistently, it becomes part of your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wants to write and start seeing yourself as a writer. That identity shift is powerful. It makes action feel more natural, less forced. Over time, these habits create a rhythm. Working on your dream becomes a normal part of your life, not a rare event you do only when you feel inspired. Accountability can dramatically speed up your progress in turning dreams into action. Share your dream and your plan with someone who supports you, a friend, mentor, coach, or community. Tell them what you aim to do this week and ask them to check in with you. You can even create or join an accountability group where everyone reports their weekly actions.
Knowing that someone else will ask, "Did you do what you said you would?" adds a powerful push to follow through, especially on days you feel lazy or discouraged. If you don't have such people around you yet, start by being accountable to yourself in a visible way. Use a calendar or habit tracker and mark every day you take action toward your dream. Try not to break the chain. When you see a long streak of consistent effort, you'll feel proud of it and less willing to let it go. This visual proof of your commitment reminds you that you are not just dreaming, you are building. Distraction and overwhelm are two more enemies you will face on this journey. Big dreams often come with big to-do lists, and staring at all of it at once can make you feel frozen. The solution is to simplify your focus to the next immediate step. When you catch yourself feeling overwhelmed, stop and ask, what is the single next action I can take right now? Maybe it's writing one paragraph, making one call, researching one topic, or setting up one system. Do that, then ask again. Step by step, you move forward. Also, be ruthless with distractions. Social media, endless scrolling, constant notifications, and unimportant tasks can quietly steal the time that belongs to your dreams. Set boundaries, specific times for checking messages, limits on entertainment, and sacred hours for deep work. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be intentional. Every minute redirected from distraction to focused action is a minute invested in your future.
Finally, remember your why. There will be days when progress is slow, when doubts return, when obstacles appear larger than your strength. In those moments, reconnect with the deeper reason behind your dream. Why does this matter to you? How will achieving it change your life, your family, your confidence, your impact? Sometimes revisiting your original motivation is enough to reignite your determination. Keep your why visible. Write it down. Place it where you see it daily. Repeat it to yourself when you feel tempted to give up. Turning dreams into action is not about one huge leap. It is about thousands of small, deliberate steps taken consistently over time. You will not always feel ready. You will not always feel brave. But if you keep moving, adjusting, learning, and showing up, the dream that once lived only in your imagination will begin to take shape in your reality. And one day you will look back and realize it didn't happen by accident. It happened because you chose to act. The first principle of building lasting habits is to start small. When you feel motivated, it's tempting to make huge promises. From tomorrow, I'll work out for 2 hours every day, or I'll read for 3 hours every night. But drastic changes are hard to sustain, especially when real life intervenes: work, family, fatigue, stress. When the habit is too big, you might manage it for a few days, then crash, feel guilty, and give up entirely. A better approach is to choose habits so small that they are almost impossible to say no to. Instead of promising yourself an hour of exercise, start with 10 or 15 minutes. Instead of trying to meditate for 30 minutes, start with 5. Instead of writing a full chapter, commit to writing one paragraph or one page. These small commitments may seem insignificant, but they have two important advantages. First, they are easier to start even when you're tired or unmotivated. Second, they build momentum. Once you begin, you often end up doing more than you planned. But even if you don't, you've still kept the habit alive. The real goal in the beginning is not intensity, it is consistency. Clarity is another essential part of building strong daily habits. Vague intentions create weak habits. Saying, "I want to exercise more," or "I should read more," is not enough. Your brain needs clear instructions. Turn your intentions into specific plans. I will walk for 30 minutes every morning at 7 a.m.
or I will read 10 pages every night before bed. This is sometimes called an implementation intention, a simple when X, then I will do Y formula. For example, after I finish breakfast, I will sit and plan my day for 10 minutes. Or, after I brush my teeth at night, I will write 3 lines in my journal. By linking your new habit to an existing routine, you create a trigger that reminds you to take action. Over time, the connection between trigger and habit becomes automatic. You no longer need to think hard about whether you'll do the habit. It becomes a natural part of your day. The more specific you are about when, where, and how you'll perform your habit, the more likely you are to follow through.
Your environment plays a huge role in whether your habits stick. Willpower alone is not enough if your surroundings constantly pull you in the opposite direction. Instead of relying on self-control, design your environment to make good habits easier and bad habits harder. If you want to eat healthier, don't just try to resist junk food, remove it from your house, or keep it out of easy reach. Stock your kitchen with fruits, vegetables, and healthy snacks, so the better choice is also the convenient choice. If you want to read more, place your book where you will see it, on your pillow, your desk, or next to your phone, so it becomes a natural option. If you want to work out, prepare your workout clothes in advance and keep them visible. On the other hand, if you want to cut down on social media, delete the apps from your home screen or log out so there is a small barrier each time you try to open them. These little environmental tweaks may seem minor, but they guide your behavior without you even noticing. A supportive environment silently pushes you toward success. Accountability can greatly increase your chances of building and maintaining new habits. It's easy to break a promise you quietly made to yourself. It's harder to break a promise when someone else knows about it. Share your habit goals with a friend, family member, or colleague. Tell them, I'm committing to walking every morning, or I'm going to write for 20 minutes a day, and ask them to check in with you. You might send a short message each day saying, done, or have a weekly conversation about your progress. You can also join a group, online or offline, where people are working on similar habits, such as a fitness group, a study group, or a writing group. When you know others are working too, you feel less alone and more motivated. If external accountability isn't available, create it for yourself using tracking systems. Use a calendar, notebook, or app to mark every day you complete your habit. Watch the streak grow. This visual proof of consistency is rewarding. You won't want to break the chain, and that desire helps pull you through moments of low motivation.
Tracking your habits may seem like a small activity, but it has a big psychological effect. Progress you can see is progress you want to continue. Sometimes when change feels slow, you may think, nothing is happening. What's the point? But when you look at your habit log and see that you've exercised 15 days this month or read 5 books this year, you realize your effort is paying off. This builds confidence and strengthens your identity as someone who follows through. It also helps you spot patterns. If you notice that you often miss your habit on certain days or at certain times, you can adjust your plan. Maybe mornings work better than nights, or shorter sessions are more sustainable right now. Tracking turns your habit building into a conscious process rather than a vague hope. It transforms your behavior into data you can learn from and improve. Resistance is one of the biggest barriers to strong habits. There will be days when you simply don't feel like doing what you committed to. You'll be tired, stressed, busy, or just unmotivated. Many people interpret this resistance as a sign that something is wrong. If I really wanted this, I'd feel like doing it, and then they quit. In reality, resistance is normal. You will not always want to do the right thing. The key is to lower the barrier to starting. Tell yourself, I'll just do 5 minutes, or I'll only do the first small part. Once you begin, the resistance usually weakens, and you often end up doing more than you planned. Another helpful mindset is this: you don't have to enjoy every moment of the habit. You have to value the result it creates. You might not always love exercising, but you love feeling strong and healthy.
You might not always enjoy sitting down to work, but you love the freedom and fulfillment your progress brings. Focus on the outcome, not just the discomfort of the present moment.
Many people sabotage their habits by expecting perfection. They believe that if they miss one day or make one mistake, they have failed completely. That thinking quickly leads to giving up. But building habits is not about perfection, it is about persistence. You will miss days. You will have setbacks. That is part of the process, not a reason to stop. What matters is what you do next. If you miss one day, make sure you don't miss 2 in a row. Get back on track as quickly as possible. Treat the slip as a small bump, not a disaster. Be kind to yourself, but also firm. Yes, I fell off yesterday. Today, I return. Over time, this ability to recover quickly is more important than never making mistakes. Strong habits are built by people who continue despite imperfection, not by those who only continue when everything goes smoothly. As your habits solidify, they begin to shape your identity. At first, you are someone trying to build a habit. After a while, you become someone who just does this thing. You no longer try to be fit. You are someone who works out. You no longer try to read. You are a reader. You no longer try to be disciplined. You are disciplined. This identity shift is powerful because your actions tend to follow who you believe you are. When a habit reaches the point where it feels strange not to do it, you know it has become part of you. Still, life changes, and sometimes your habits must change with it. Don't be afraid to adjust. If a habit no longer serves your goals or your situation, modify it. Flexibility does not mean you are weak or inconsistent. It means you are smart enough to adapt. The key is to always keep some form of supportive habit in place, even if the details evolve.
Building strong daily habits will not always feel exciting or dramatic. Much of the time, it will feel ordinary, even boring. But this is where transformation happens, in the quiet repetition of small, meaningful actions. Every day you choose to show up, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Over weeks and months, those votes add up. The world may only notice the results later. The healthier body, the new skills, the financial improvement, the confidence, but you will know those results were built one habit at a time. If you commit to your habits will carry you to your goals. Stay patient, stay consistent, and trust that the small things you do today are shaping the future you will live tomorrow. Fear and failure are 2 of the biggest forces that hold people back from living up to their true potential. They usually appear exactly at the moment when you're trying to grow, when you attempt something new, step outside your comfort zone, or move toward a goal that truly matters to you. Fear whispers, "What if you're not good enough? What if this doesn't work? What if people judge you?" Failure, or even the possibility of it, can feel like a heavy weight on your chest, making you hesitate, delay, or walk away before you even try. But here's the crucial truth. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever heard, involves both fear and failure. The difference is not that successful people never felt afraid or never failed. It's that they refused to let fear and failure make the final decision. They acted anyway, learned from their mistakes, and kept moving. The goal is not to live a life without fear or failure. That's impossible. The goal is to change your relationship with them so they stop controlling your choices and start fueling your growth.
Fear often grows out of the unknown. When you face a new situation, a new job, a new project, a new level of responsibility, you don't know exactly what will happen. The brain doesn't like uncertainty, so it fills in the blanks with worst-case scenarios. It imagines embarrassment, rejection, loss, or disappointment. Suddenly, your mind is full of what-ifs. What if I mess up? What if they laugh at me? What if I lose money? What if I'm exposed as a fraud? But most of these fears are predictions, not facts. They are stories, not reality. To weaken fear,
you must question it. Ask yourself, what evidence do I have that this will happen? Has something like this happened before, or am I just imagining it? Then ask, what is the best that could happen if I try, and what is the cost if I don't? Often, you'll discover that the cost of staying stuck, regret, frustration, wasted potential, is far greater than the risk of taking action. Fear is often a sign that you're standing at the edge of something important. Instead of seeing it as a stop sign, start seeing it as a signal. You are about to grow. One practical way to handle fear is to break it into smaller pieces. Fear usually feels massive because you're thinking about the entire journey at once. For example, if you're afraid of public speaking, you might picture yourself in front of a huge audience, forgetting your words and being judged harshly. That image is overwhelming. But what if you only focused on the next small step? Maybe your first step is just writing an outline, or practicing in front of a mirror, or speaking to a friend. The fear is rarely as intense when you zoom in to a tiny action. Do the same with any fear. Identify the next small, doable step and commit to just that. Over time, each small step proves to your brain that you can handle more than you thought. The fear may not vanish completely, but it becomes manageable. Another powerful tool is preparation. Fear loves uncertainty. Preparation reduces uncertainty. The more you practice, rehearse, research, or plan, the more capable you feel. Preparation doesn't guarantee a perfect result, but it strengthens your confidence that you can deal with whatever happens. When you know you've done the work, fear has less ground to stand on.
Failure is often seen as something shameful, final, or deeply personal. Many people believe that if they fail at something, it means they are a failure. That belief is one of the most destructive lies you can accept. Failure is not a statement about your worth. It is feedback about your strategy, timing, skills, or approach. When a scientist runs an experiment and it doesn't produce the desired result, they don't say, "I am a failure." They say, "Interesting, that didn't work. What can I adjust?" You must begin to treat your goals the same way, as a series of experiments rather than pass or fail tests of your identity. Every failure contains information. Maybe it shows you a skill you need to develop. Maybe it reveals a better method you hadn't considered. Maybe it exposes something that wasn't truly aligned with your values. If you can shift your mind from "I failed" to "I learned," failure becomes a powerful teacher instead of a prison. The people who achieve the most are usually the ones who have failed the most, simply because they were willing to try more often than others. A lot of fear and pain around failure comes from perfectionism. Perfectionism tells you that unless you do something flawlessly, it was not worth doing. It convinces you that mistakes are unacceptable and that other people are constantly judging you. This mindset makes it nearly impossible to start, finish, or enjoy anything. To overcome perfectionism, you must redefine what success looks like. Instead of asking, "Was it perfect?" ask, "Did I grow? Did I show up? Did I move forward, even a little?" Progress, not perfection, must become your standard. You will make mistakes. You will have awkward moments. You will create work that you later realize could have been better. That's not a problem. That's the path of improvement. Give yourself permission to do things badly at first. No one writes a masterpiece on their first try. No one gives a flawless first speech. You earn skill through repetition, not through avoiding anything that might expose your rough edges. Ironically, when you let go of the need to be perfect, you free yourself to practice more, and that practice is what brings excellence over time. Resilience is the bridge between fear, failure, and eventual success. Resilience is your ability to recover, adapt, and keep going after things go wrong. It's what allows you to stand back up after falling, to adjust your plan instead of abandoning your dream. Building resilience starts with adopting a growth mindset, the belief that your abilities are not fixed but can be developed through effort, learning, and experience. With a growth mindset, challenges are not threats to your identity. They are opportunities to evolve. Instead of saying, "I'm just not good at this," you say, "I'm not good at this yet." That single word, "yet," reshapes how you respond to every difficulty you encounter. To strengthen resilience, take time to reflect after every failure. Ask, what exactly went wrong? What part was in my control? What can I do differently next time? Write down your answers. This reflection turns pain into wisdom. It ensures that your failures are not wasted, they become fuel. Self-compassion is another essential part of overcoming fear and failure. Many people are far harsher to themselves than they would ever be to a friend. When they make a mistake, they attack themselves mentally. "You're so stupid, you always mess things up, why did you even try?" This inner criticism doesn't make you stronger, it makes you more afraid to try again. Imagine instead that a close friend failed at something important and felt discouraged. You wouldn't call them worthless. You would encourage them, remind them of their strengths, and help them see the situation more clearly. You deserve that same kindness. Self-compassion doesn't mean avoiding responsibility or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It means acknowledging your pain, owning your mistakes, and then choosing to speak to yourself in a way that supports you, not destroys you. When you treat yourself with understanding instead of constant judgment, you create a safe inner space where you are willing to try again.
In the end, the most powerful way to overcome fear and failure is to keep taking action in spite of them. The more you avoid something because you're afraid, the bigger that fear grows. But every time you move toward what scares you, you prove to yourself that you can survive it. You won't always win, but you will always learn. Over time, your confidence will stop coming from the illusion that nothing will ever go wrong. It will come from the deep knowing that even if things go wrong, you can handle it. That is real strength. Fear and failure are not signs that you're on the wrong path. Often, they are evidence that you are doing something meaningful enough to challenge you. Don't let them convince you to shrink your life. Instead, let them sharpen you, toughen you, and teach you. You are not defined by your fears, and you are not defined by your failures. You are defined by how you respond to them. Keep moving forward, one step at a time. Your courage will grow, your skills will improve, and what once terrified you will one day feel small.
Staying focused and productive in today's world is a real challenge. We live in an age of constant notifications, endless content, and ongoing demands for our attention. With so many distractions around you, social media, messages, YouTube, streaming, news, it's easy to feel busy all day and still end the day wondering what you actually accomplished. Yet, if you want to achieve your goals and unlock your full potential, learning to focus deeply and work productively is essential. Productivity is not about doing as many things as possible. It is about doing the right things consistently. Focus means directing your attention toward what truly matters, instead of allowing your energy to be scattered across 100 unimportant tasks. The first step is clarity. You must know what your real priorities are. Ask yourself, what are the few key things that, if done consistently, will move my life or work forward the most? These are your high-value tasks. Everything else is secondary. Many people spend most of their time putting out small fires, responding to every message immediately, reacting to every request, doing what feels urgent but not important. To be truly productive, you must reverse this. Schedule time for what is important before reacting to everything else. When your day is built around your priorities, your life moves in the direction you actually want, not just in the direction of whatever screams the loudest. Once you know your priorities, the next step is to break them into concrete, manageable actions. A goal like "be more productive" is too vague to guide your behavior. Instead, translate it into specific tasks. Write 1,000 words, complete one module of my course, make 3 sales calls, study for 45 minutes. Vague goals create vague results. Specific tasks create clear progress. To make this easier, plan your day in advance. Either the night before or first thing in the morning, list the top 3 to 5 tasks that must be done. Put them in order of importance, not ease. Then build your day around completing those tasks. One powerful method is time blocking. You assign certain time periods for specific work. For example, from 9 to 9:30, you focus only on your most important task. No messages, no browsing, no multitasking. From 11 to 12, you handle emails and routine tasks. From 2 to 3, you work on a secondary project. When you give each task a clear place in your schedule, you reduce decision fatigue and create structure. You no longer waste time wondering, what should I do now? The plan is already made. Your job is to follow it.
Your environment has a huge impact on your ability to focus. It's much harder to concentrate in a noisy, cluttered, or distracting space than in a clean, quiet, and organized one. To increase your focus, take control of your surroundings as much as possible. Create a dedicated workspace, even if it's just a small corner of a room, where your brain learns, here we do focused work. Keep this area as tidy as you can. Physical clutter often leads to mental clutter. Next, manage digital distractions. Turn off non-essential notifications. Close unnecessary tabs. Put your phone on silent or in another room during deep work sessions. You might use website blockers to prevent yourself from opening social media or entertainment sites while you're supposed to be working. These small changes send a powerful message to your mind. This time and space are reserved for what matters. You don't need superhuman willpower if your environment is designed to support your focus instead of constantly tempting you away from it. Time management and energy management go hand in hand. You might schedule your day perfectly, but if you ignore your physical and mental state, your productivity will still suffer. Pay attention to when you naturally feel most alert and energetic. Some people are sharpest in the morning, others in the afternoon or evening. Whenever possible, schedule your most demanding tasks during your peak energy times. Save routine or low-effort activities for when your energy dips. Also, don't underestimate the power of breaks. Working endlessly without rest leads to burnout, mental fatigue, and sloppy work. A technique like the Pomodoro method, 25 minutes of focused work followed by a 5-minute break, can help maintain your focus for longer periods. After several cycles, take a longer break to recharge. During your breaks, avoid activities that overstimulate your brain, like scrolling social media. Instead, stretch, walk, breathe deeply, or drink water. These small pauses help reset your attention so you can return to your work with clarity.
Discipline plays a crucial role in staying focused and productive. There will be many moments when you don't feel like doing the work, even when you know it's important. It might be tempting to open your phone just for a minute, check your messages, or switch to something more enjoyable. But each time you give in to that temptation, you weaken your ability to stay focused. Discipline means choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. It means reminding yourself, I can relax later. Right now, I am building my future. One helpful mindset is to commit to just starting. When you feel resistance, tell yourself, I'll work on this for only 10 minutes. Often, once you begin, the resistance fades and you continue. Another powerful tool is accountability. Tell someone what you plan to accomplish and report back to them. Knowing that someone else is aware of your commitments can give you the extra push you need to follow through, especially on days when your motivation is low. Finally, remember that productivity is not a contest, and focus is not about being busy every second. Being truly productive means aligning your actions with your values and goals, and leaving space for rest, reflection, and renewal. If you work constantly without pause, your creativity and effectiveness will decline. Build rhythms into your life. periods of concentrated effort followed by genuine rest. At the end of each day or week, review what you accomplished, what went well, where did you get distracted, what can you change next time. This simple reflection helps you steadily improve your focus strategies instead of repeating the same mistakes. Over time, as you become more intentional with your time, your results will grow, your stress will decrease, and your confidence will rise. Focus and productivity are not talents you either have or don't have. They are skills you can build. With clarity, structure, environment design, discipline, and regular reflection, you can train your mind to stay on what matters, and that single ability will multiply everything else you do. As you move further along the journey of unlocking your full potential, you realize that success is not built on a single idea or single effort. It is the combination of several inner strengths and outer strategies working together. Self-discipline, energy management, confidence, mindset, relationships, stress control, time mastery, resilience, and gratitude. When these elements align, your growth stops being random and becomes deliberate. You are no longer just reacting to life, you are actively shaping it. Self-discipline is the engine that keeps everything moving. Without it, even the clearest goals and best plans fall apart. Discipline is not a gift some people are born with. It is a skill that can be trained like a muscle. It begins with small choices, waking up when you said you would, keeping your promises to yourself, working on your goals even when you don't feel like it. Instead of relying on motivation, which is unstable, you build systems and habits that carry you forward. You plan your days, break tasks into clear steps, and prepare in advance so that doing the right thing becomes easier than avoiding it. You learn to say no to distractions, to unnecessary commitments, to temptations that offer quick pleasure but steal long-term progress. Each no is also a yes to your growth, to your priorities, to your future self. Over time, discipline changes how you see yourself. You stop identifying as someone who can't stay consistent and start seeing yourself as a person who follows through. But discipline alone is not enough if your energy is constantly drained. That's why managing your energy, physically, mentally, and emotionally, is crucial. Your body is the vehicle through which your dreams are expressed. When you neglect it, everything becomes harder. Focus, willpower, creativity, patience. You begin by paying attention to the basics: sleep, food, and movement. Quality sleep restores your brain and body. Without it, discipline feels like pushing a car with no fuel. Nutritious food gives you steady energy instead of quick spikes and crashes. Regular exercise may feel tiring in the moment, but it increases your overall energy, improves your mood, and strengthens your confidence. Alongside physical health, you protect your mental energy by reducing unnecessary stress and negativity. You set boundaries with people and situations that constantly drain you. You practice simple tools like deep breathing, short breaks, or mindfulness to calm your nervous system. You also do things you enjoy, not just to waste time, but to recharge your spirit so you can come back to your goals with a full tank instead of running on empty.
As your discipline and energy grow, so does your confidence. Confidence is not about never feeling insecure. It is about knowing that even when you feel insecure, you can still act. You build confidence by collecting evidence, small wins you create through action. Each time you complete a habit, face a fear, or follow your plan, you prove to yourself that you are reliable. You also change the way you talk to yourself. Instead of constant criticism, "I'm not good enough, I always fail," you begin to speak with self-respect. "I'm learning, I'm improving, I've done hard things before." You stop seeing failure as proof of your inadequacy and start seeing it as a normal, even necessary part of the path. Every time something doesn't work, you ask, "What can this teach me?" That question alone turns painful moments into stepping stones. True confidence arises not from perfection, but from familiarity with falling and rising again. All of this is powered by one central element, your mindset. Your mindset is the lens through which you interpret everything that happens to you. With a negative or fixed mindset, you see problems as permanent, abilities as limited, and challenges as threats. With a positive and growth mindset, you see challenges as opportunities, abilities as expandable, and setbacks as temporary. A positive mindset does not mean denying pain or pretending everything is fine. It means believing that you have the power to respond, adapt, and grow no matter what life brings. You nurture this mindset by practicing gratitude, deliberately focusing on what you have instead of what you lack. Even on difficult days, you train yourself to notice something good, a small improvement, a kind word, a lesson learned, a moment of peace. Gratitude rewires your brain to look for possibilities instead of problems. Over time, this shift makes you more resilient, less reactive, and more hopeful. The people around you either strengthen this mindset or slowly erode it. That is why your environment is not just physical, it is social. The people you spend time with shape your beliefs about what is normal and what is possible. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, complaining, and small thinking, it becomes difficult to hold on to a big vision for your life. On the other hand, when you connect with people who are working on themselves, who aim higher, and who support your growth, you naturally rise. You start to expect more from yourself, not out of pressure, but out of inspiration. Part of unlocking your potential is being brave enough to set boundaries with toxic influences and seek out healthier connections. This doesn't mean you judge or hate people who are stuck. It simply means you protect your mind and choose carefully who has access to your time and energy. At the same time, you become the kind of person others can rely on, encouraging, honest, and uplifting. You don't just receive support, you also give it, and in helping others grow, your own growth deepens.
As your life becomes more full, more goals, more responsibilities, more opportunities, you realize that time is your most limited resource. You cannot manage time itself, but you can manage your choices. Mastering time and productivity means regularly asking, is this the best use of my time right now? Instead of drifting from one distraction to another, you plan your days around your priorities. You break big projects into smaller tasks, schedule focused work blocks, and protect them like appointments with your future. You limit multitasking, which splits your attention and reduces quality. You allow yourself breaks to rest and renew so you can return with clarity. You learn to say no more often, not to be rude, but to stay true to what matters. You understand that doing fewer things with full presence is more powerful than doing many things without direction. No matter how well you plan or how strong you become, life will still test you. You will face setbacks, disappointments, and seasons where nothing seems to work. This is where resilience and the decision to never give up become critical. Resilience is not about never feeling pain, it is about not letting pain permanently stop you. When you are knocked down, you allow yourself to feel, to rest, to process, but then you rise. You look at what happened with honesty, extract the lessons, and adjust your course. You remind yourself of your why, the reason you started in the first place. You accept that the path to any worthwhile dream is not straight. It is full of twists, delays, and unexpected obstacles. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "How can I grow because of this?" Each time you choose to continue, your character deepens. You become stronger, calmer, and more grounded. The things that once shattered you become things you know how to handle. Throughout this journey, gratitude and positivity act like a guiding light.
Gratitude keeps you rooted when you're chasing bigger goals. It prevents you from becoming so obsessed with the future that you forget to appreciate the present. It reminds you that success is not just about achievement, it is also about the person you become and the moments you experience along the way. Positivity keeps your heart open in a world that can easily make you cynical. It allows you to see the good in yourself and in others, even when circumstances are difficult. It doesn't mean you ignore problems, it means you believe solutions exist and you are capable of finding them. When you integrate all of this, discipline, energy management, confidence, a growth mindset, supportive relationships, wise time use, resilience, and gratitude, you stop living by accident. You begin to live by design. You understand that your potential was never a fixed amount handed to you at birth. It is something you expand every time you choose effort over excuses, learning over comfort, and courage over fear. You will still face doubts. You will still feel afraid sometimes. You will still fall. But now you know how to respond. You have tools. You have awareness. You have proof from your own life that you can change. In the end, unlocking your full potential is not a single moment of transformation, but a lifelong practice. It's in the decision to wake up one more day and give your best effort, even when no one is watching. It's in the quiet choices you make when it would be easier to quit. It's in how you treat yourself after you fail and how you rise again. You already have everything you need to begin: a mind that can learn, a heart that can choose, and a will that can decide. The journey is in front of you. Your future is not written yet. The question is not whether you have potential. You do. The real question is, will you use it? If you're willing to take consistent action, to grow through fear and failure, to protect your energy, to choose your company wisely, to master your time, and to practice gratitude no matter what, then the life you once only dreamed of will eventually become the life you live. The choice, as always, is in your hands.